Good morning, dear investors. My name is Valdo Kalm. I'm in charge of the Port of Tallinn Group, and with me, our CFO, Andrus Ait.
Good morning.
Let's start with most important events from Q2, sorry. And then, of course, we will address 6 month results also. Right. Q2 was quite a good month in terms of cargo volumes, plus 8%. I will come back to that where it comes. Also, on passenger numbers, we have seen quite a good and strong June, especially June, but all Q2 was good. Got a lot of help from cruise passengers also. For us, it's very important to have more vessels, both on cargo side and on passenger business. And our ferry business also shows growth in terms of passengers and vehicles. In Q2, we signed additional trips agreement for regular. And we had shareholders meeting. We approved our dividends as we promised on our dividend policy level and even more. There was election of new supervisory board members and auditor. And we celebrated 35th anniversary of Tallinn-Stockholm route. Also, for us, it's important to support and move on with Rail Baltica terminal, and in Q2 there was a signature of contract for design of Muuga terminal. To the business areas more precisely. On passenger side, as I mentioned, we had increase of 4%. And it came from regular lines, but also Q2 was very good for the passengers coming from the cruise. The increase was 25%, but we got also very good vessel calls number, almost doubled as last year, and also July continuing the same trend. All in all, revenue increase of 8%. On cargo, there was also increase of volumes, revenue. The biggest growth came from liquid bulk, dry bulk, and general cargo. Also on containers, but small decrease in ro-ro. Ferry business shows stable numbers, increase of number of vehicles and passengers, stable revenues. But on Botnica, there is a decrease of charter days compared to the last year due to the longer discussions and postponing one contract with one Canadian operator, and therefore we see also a decrease in revenues influencing our group figures also. As I mentioned about the passenger numbers, the increase of passengers are important, but on the other side, very important is the number of vessel calls, what also shows increase from last year. And same in cargo, increase of different bulks, but 5% increase in vessels also is quite interesting for us. Our ferry business shows stable development. There are also numbers from 6 months. And as we mentioned on Botnica, there is less utilization rate and charter days than last year in Q2 and also on 6 months. And we will comment on the cost side also that we didn't lost on profits, but on revenues there is a decrease. About the future, basically the same trends as we commented last quarter. We see the recovery of passenger numbers. As I mentioned, July also shows quite a good development in terms of regular international passengers and also cruise passengers. For us, it's very important to find new ro-ro and container lines. In Q1, we added one container line. We have a couple of negotiations with different companies because we have enough capacity in Muuga. Yeah, it's quite tough now in Paldiski, but we're building the new multifunctional quay. I guess we have excellent conditions for the future also to add some new shipping line also in Paldiski. We're working on our industrial parks in Muuga and Paldiski. Hopefully, from the practical point of view, in Muuga, Jetgas will start building their terminal even this year. We signed the contract Q4 last year. There are some developments also in Paldiski, and for us, that's a strategic approach to have new operators, new manufacturing companies in our industrial park. And multifunctional quay in Paldiski under development. Everything goes as we planned. The quay is ready. The ramp is ready. Now we're working with this 10 hectare of the land, and hopefully we are ready in Q2 next year as we planned. And then we preparing for the real estate business. As we promised, we try to start this year. If everything goes well, then we have in our plans and with negotiation with the city government to fix 2 detailed plans from 5 of them, and then we are ready to really start with real estate in longer term perspective. And of course, efficiency. That's important all the time. We I guess manage quite well our maintenance cost this year. We have certain plan for maintenance also on second quarter, and I guess we are we keeping under control the personal cost. Now I would like to give floor to Andrus to explain the numbers from Q2 and 6 months.
Thank you, Valdo. So these are the financial results for the second quarter and 6-month period. The financials were strongly impacted positively by increase in volumes. There was growth in vessel calls, also cargo volumes increased, and also the passenger numbers. In addition to that, there was positive effect on profitability from the sale of land in Muuga Harbour for the freight station construction for Rail Baltica. Also, receivables classified unlikely were recovered. So due to that, we had lower costs. But on the other hand, on negative side, the charter days of Botnica were lower and also the income tax on dividends increased, so there were also negative impacts on profitability. Revenue in the second quarter decreased by almost 7%, and the main reason behind that is the decline of the charter days of Botnica. Last year, in the second quarter, the so-called summer charter project started already in May. This year, the May and June were vacant for Botnica, so from that we had the negative impact on revenues. All the other main revenue streams like vessel dues, cargo charges, and passenger fees increased. Only revenue item which decreased in addition to charter fees was sale of electricity, but it was because of lower consumption, mainly in cargo harbor. So there were also lower costs on cost side, and profitability wasn't impacted by the sale of electricity. Just the EBITDA, despite of the decline on revenue, the adjusted EBITDA increased by 7% and amounted to 15.9 million euros. The increase was a bit more than 1 million euro. To explain that, the positive effect came from lower operating costs. Operating costs decreased by 1.6 million euros, and 1.1 of that was attributable to Botnica activities. Last year, when Botnica was chartered out, then the ship had also higher costs. For example, we had to rent special equipment for the icebreaker. Also, fuel costs were higher, and we had to make more repair costs. This year we didn't have this kind of costs for Botnica. And in addition, we also made less repair works in cargo harbors and in passenger harbors in amount of 500,000 euros. So this also was as a result of efficiency measures. We also had the positive effect from the sale of land in Muuga Harbor. We sold 8 premises, and the effect on EBITDA level was plus 900,000 euros. And we managed to the receivables which we had classified unlikely were recovered. Due to that, the impairment of financial assets was positive, and the positive effect on EBITDA level was plus 700,000 euros. Personnel expenses in the second quarter remain flat. There was a decrease in the segment other because of lower charter days of Botnica, and some increase in ferry segment and in harbors, but all in all, personnel expenses were flat. Adjusted EBITDA margin was almost 54%. The growth here was plus 6.8 percentage points, and this is quite high level for Port of Tallinn Group. And even when we take out the one-off effects from the sale of assets and from positive impairment of financial assets, so the level then is still about 50%. So let's say the core business showed good profitability. Operating profit increased by 12% and amounted to 10 million euros. Growth here was also 1 million euros, which is similar than on EBITDA level. Income tax on dividends increased by 2.3 million euros because of changes in tax law. Last year we had lower dividend tax rate for dividends, which was paid out regularly every year. This year, this lower rate was abolished, and therefore the income tax costs on dividends increased. The dividend payout itself was equal than last year, 19.2 million euros. And net financial costs decreased by 700,000 euros due to the lower Euribor rates. And profit for the period decreased by 15% and amounted to 3.5 million euros, and profitability was strongly impacted by higher income tax. And in the second quarter, we invested 8.4 million euros. The majority of that was made in Paldiski South Harbour, where we proceeded the quay construction. The quay construction investment was about 5.3 million euros. In addition to that, we had regular docking works for one of our ferries and also for Botnica, and also we improved one quay in Muuga Harbour, where we serve the container ships. On a 6-month period, the pattern of the results is quite similar. Revenue decreased, adjusted EBITDA increased. Revenue decreased because of lower number of charter days of Botnica. Other revenue streams increased. Adjusted EBITDA increased by 8%. In the first quarter, we got the indemnity payment from insurance in amount of 900,000 euros for Botnica repair works, which we made last year. So this was additional positive effect on 6-month period. And in ferry segment, we had lower fuel costs because of milder ice conditions in the first quarter this year. Just EBITDA margin was over 51%. Operating profit increased by almost 15% and amounted to 18.2 million euros. And then profit for the period increased by 11% and amounted to 10.2 million euros. And on 6-month period, we invested 12 million euros. In the second quarter, the main project was the quay construction in Paldiski, 7.3 million euros. And in first quarter, we had also the second regular docking work for the ferry. So these were the main investments. And last year, on 6-month period, there was elevated investment level due to the start of construction of the Paldiski quay, and due to the investment cycle there was kind of elevated investment level. And these are the results of the business segments. In the second quarter, passenger harbors and cargo harbors showed very good growth, both on revenue and EBIT level. Passenger harbors, the revenue increased by 8% or by 800,000 euros, and this was mainly because of higher number of vessel calls and higher number of passengers. But also, in some extent, it was impacted by higher tariffs because we increased tariffs in the second quarter this year. And in the cargo harbors, the revenue increased by 9% because of higher number of vessel calls, and also the cargo volumes increased. And here also, like in passenger harbors, the tariff rates or charges were increased. So they are partially impacted by this. And on EBIT level, the strong growth was attributable to sale of land. We received payments from clients for the invoices which were classified unlikely, and the impact from that was 700,000 euros. And also the cost cuts and lower costs impacted the EBIT positively. In ferry segment, revenue increased a bit due to the indexation. EBIT in the second quarter decreased a bit because of higher costs, mainly personnel expenses. And in the segment other, revenue decreased because of lower number of charter days, but at the same time, the costs were also lower by 1.15 million euros. So the drop on EBIT level was significantly lower than on revenues. And on 6 month period, same explanations goes here as well. In ferry segment, we had milder ice conditions. Due to that, the costs in the first quarter were lower, so the EBIT on 6 month period also increased. And in ferry segment, we received the indemnity payment in the first quarter, so this was also the extra positive effect on EBIT level in the segment other. But in cargo harbors and passenger harbors, there were higher volumes and higher number of vessel calls and lower costs. So therefore, the profitability and revenue increased. On cash flow side, cash from operating activities increased by 1 million euros. Sale of goods and services increased, and payments to the suppliers decreased. And negative effect came from higher income tax payment on dividends. But all in all, in this item, the growth was plus 1 million euros. Cash used in investing activities was plus 20 million euros compared to the minus 22 million last year in the same period. To explain that, in the end of last year, we placed more than 20 million to bank deposits with the term more than 3 months, and during the first half of this year, we received those deposits were terminated, and we received the money, so there was positive effect. In addition to that, the sale of land in Muuga impacted this row, and investments itself were also lower than last year. And last year we had elevated level of investments. Due to that, there was a negative number in 6 month period 2024. And free cash flow was almost plus 47 million euros. And cash used in financing activities was minus 23 million euros. It was impacted by dividend payout and interests on loans. Last year we took a new loan, draw the new loan, and therefore the cash flow here was less negative. And net cash flow at the end of the period was plus 23 million almost. Net debt at the end of the period decreased by 20 million euros because we had more cash on bank accounts and we have made bank loan repayments. And on financial position, we don't see any significant change here. Other current assets decreased as the non-current assets held for the sale decreased as we sold the premises in Muuga Harbor. So therefore, this item decreased, but all other figures in balance sheet were quite stable. Equity decreased because of dividend payout and was positively impacted by the profit of the period. So like always, we have some extra slides about revenue generation and EBITDA generation, but those we won't comment. The presentation is uploaded on our website. You can browse it later. And now we will make a short break. And we have received some questions up front, and those questions we address at first. And please submit your question to Teams, and we will back in a couple of minutes. Thank you.
All right, we are back. Let's start with the questions what we had and advanced on from previous Estonian language webinar. What is the perspective for the Southport development now? And when will Tallinna Sadam find an operator and will be the first revenue uh, from the key? As we mentioned, we building multifunctional key and also 10 hectares special backyard to the key. And still, we hope that it will be ready Q2 next year. And our main purpose is to find operator who building the offshore wind farms in all Baltic Sea. We are not concentrating to Estonian projects. And we see still interest, especially coming, for example, from Finland, Poland, Lithuania. Therefore, that's the main purpose. In other hand, we have a lack of RoRo resources. That means we need additional key for RoRo and to general cargo, what we can handle better with this new key. With all that, we hope that if the execution of the key will be on Q2 next year, then basically on a second half of the year, we would like to see revenues coming from this new key. Next question. Can and where could we see increase of Tallinna Sadam sales volumes in coming years? On passenger business, we still believe if you have a perspective 1 year from now, that there will be the recovery in passenger business. The Q2 shows the trends, and also July was quite strong in terms of regular lines and cruise business. On cargo, we believe that export import will increase in Scandinavia. We see good development just now from Sweden, recovery from Finland. That drives hopefully container and RoRo. Then, of course, it's very difficult to comment on liquid bulk. That's very project-oriented business, but still we believe recovery also in volumes in coming 12 months. Next question. Is there a plan to build a sister ship to Botnica? The short answer, yes. The plan is still valid. We now study the market, and also we try to understand what is the multifunctionality for offshore ship. And that's all what we do by the end of this year. And hopefully then we'll have certain type of decision. And about Botnica, next question. What is the outlook for Botnica's work volume for the second half of this year? And here we can comment that we have just now negotiations with two companies, one in Canada, one in North Sea. We hope that we will have, let's call summer, autumn job as we had last year, but it really depends on negotiations, but they are ongoing, and we have concrete companies behind that. Andrus will, okay. All right. There is also one question advanced, what we have to, and we would like to answer. Looking ahead to the next 18 months, what would be the biggest risk for Tallinna Sadam group, apart from the macroeconomical environment? Are there any significant bottlenecks in terms of growth projects? The biggest risk, as I just explained, the shipping and Botnica case, then we see that's the biggest risk to have a summer job, to be very competitive. Although there is still offshore market very active, and we just have to be also very proactive and find the projects. That's maybe the biggest risk, and I don't see any significant bottlenecks in terms of other projects.
Thank you. I take the next questions. Regarding liquid cargo, liquid cargo volumes have started to recover strongly. What is driving this, and how sustainable is the current level or trend? The liquid bulk volumes were supported mainly by project-based volumes, and currently those volumes have been quite stable, but it is quite difficult to forecast the future about the project-based volumes. So usually we don't give any forecasts out, but I can say that it's currently those volumes are stable, but it's hard to forecast the future. But we hope that at least those volumes which we already have will be stable. Regarding RoRo volumes, are there trends in the current quarter better compared to the previous quarter, and can we expect RoRo volumes to be stronger in the second half of the year? We actually don't see any significant changes in RoRo volumes and any trends there. So it's also very difficult to predict or forecast the future. So it's more like depend on macroeconomics and the growth in Nordic states. So where there will be stronger financial results, then we hope that RoRo also kind of shows the correlation of the macroeconomic of Nordic states. You have previously indicated that this year's investment level will be approximately 35 million euros. Is this still expected level? We can say that due to the lower investment needs in maritime segments, there will be some decline, but the overall investment level for this year should be somewhere in between 30 million and 35 million. There will be some decrease probably, but a couple of millions. And quay construction in Paldiski, this is going by the plans, and there we don't see any decline there. And what is the Port of Tallinn long-term net debt EBITDA target or maximum upper limit? Let's say the limit is 4.5. So currently the level is lower, so we have ability to take new loans and invest to the growth projects and to the necessary investments. So there is plenty of room to invest in the future as well. So, and we take the questions which we received through the Teams during the presentation. So,
what are your priorities between dividend payments and growth investments? Which is more important? We always try to find right balance between dividends and growth projects to cover both. But more important in this period just now is to fulfill our dividend policy and pay out very stable dividends.
I think the next one, what could be the level of investment in 2025? Will you postpone a possible investment to the multifunctional service vessel? I already commented on the investment level, and actually the investment of multifunctional service vessel or new offshore vessel wasn't one of the investments of this year. Rather, it was like future project, and we probably will make the next decision or some decision by the end of this year and then disclose it publicly.
You highlighted that it's now tough in Paldiski. Do you mean that you don't have enough new tenants or less that originally planned? We we didn't actually had such a tough message. We see that there is, yeah, some lack of for ro-ro vessels, and as we building the multifunctional key that also help on that, and therefore we just now working with this investment as we planned, and we hope that we will see revenues immediately when this investment is completed.
And last question, were there some one-offs or what could be growth in cargo volumes in the future? I would comment that this year we had some positive effect, probably from the construction of Rail Baltica, because the gravel volumes has increased, and we hope that this also continue in the future, and even maybe there will be some growth as well.
All right, and thank you for the questions. With that, we are finishing our webinarium, and see you on Q3 webinarium. Thanks.
Thank you. See you.